Hello, everybody. It's Jane from Surface Anthology and Chalk Mercantile. Those are my dogs barking in the background. They create atmosphere. I have no idea what they're barking at. Hopefully the murderer's not at my door. So I hope everybody's great today. I am going to be making over our jewelry box hardware, and I'm going to show you how I do that with one of my absolute favorite products in the world. Let me just get my link over to my text people. Oops, I didn't say what we're doing. I'll just put join me live. There we go. Okay. And before I start, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the shop. I'm sure everyone has heard about the IOD, the Iron Orchid Designs fall winter release. Hey Renee, good morning. Is it still morning? Yep. Here in Connecticut, it's 10 to 12. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me today. So the Iron Orchid release is coming out on August 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's when I'm able to put it live in my shop. And my shop is chalkmercantile.com. So I have the order. It's in. It came in. It's gorgeous. I'm really excited. It's hard to kind of hold back. Good morning, Shannon. Welcome. Flowers and sunshine. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going over a little bit of what's going on before we redo this hardware. All right. So the Iron Orchid is going to be available at chalkmercantile.com. The new Iron Orchid release, and that will be the 24th this month, August 24th at 11 a.m. My membership, and we have a new member joining us today, the Surface Anthology membership is open now, and this membership is for people who are creative, even if you don't think you're creative, because I know you're creative because I worked with a lot of furniture painters, decorative painters. I used to actually teach fine art drawing, and I've talked to so many people who have all these incredible ideas in their head. They either lack the skills, the knowledge, like how do I make it happen, or the confidence, like is this gonna look good? Am I crazy? And I definitely still have those moments. Oh, Shannon. So the Surface Anthology membership is for people who want to learn how to paint furniture, walls, doors, decorative painters, and dive deeper into the techniques of furniture painting and creating authentic heirloom paint finishes. So that means paint finishes that are going to get even more gorgeous as they age, like a fine wine or a painted antique or a beautiful wood finish, right? They always, those antique finishes are so loved because of all that patina. So that's what really drives me. And it's open until August 28th. It is now $23 a month. You get a full workshop every month. You get a live, along with that, a live tutorial. You get 20% off of everything in the Chalk Mercantile shop. A community, we have a private community and lots more. So if this is something that interests you, I'm going to actually put the link into the comments now so you can check it out. And for those of you that may be watching over on Facebook, over on YouTube, I will also put the link in there. And the last thing is my workshop. If you look over my shoulder, it's called the Fancy French Inspired Chalkboard Workshop. It's live August 23, 24, 25 at 11 a.m. Eastern. But if you can't make the live, you will have lifetime access to the replay. Oh, hair on my mouth. It's very breezy today. We got some really much needed rain, and now we have that kind of misty breeze coming in. So don't worry if you can't make the workshop, you will have access. We have a private Facebook group, and you'll have access to the replay. And then when I move the workshop over to my kind of workshop platform, you'll be signed up and you'll have lifetime access. So that's great. And it is $18. It's a good deal. And you're going to learn all kinds of distressing techniques, how to design your chalkboard, molds, waxing, metallics, the whole thing. Oh, Renee, thank you so much. She's scattered. I love that. Thank you, thank you. Now let's get into hardware. Now I'm showing you guys, oops, I forgot to put that one in. Renee, you reminded me, thank you. I have to put in, this is the link for the workshop. So let's put this in. All right, now, here's the hardware. I just washed it really quickly and let it dry really well. It has to be super dry before you do anything to it because otherwise it's just the water is gonna not allow anything to stick to it. This is called, I am pretty sure, this is called white metal. This is not solid brass, but this technique will work on solid brass, chrome, wrought iron, anything like that, this will work on. But this is really typical of the little, hardware pieces that you get on these jewelry boxes. There's like a little knob, right? And I don't like, sometimes I like it and I just clean it and leave it, but I don't like how this almost has like a green hue. Whatever the gold they use, it's a little greeny gold, and I don't like that. I like a warmer gold. I really love rose gold, but I'm not going to do rose gold for this one. I just want a warm gold look. I never spray any of this stuff because I think it gives it a very solid look, and the spray paint can chip off, right? And you lose the look of the metal. So what I use is, it's called Gilding Wax. Now this is the color I'm going to use, and this is by a company called Pebio or Pebio. It's French, and look at this color. It's gorgeous, and I've had this for years. A little goes a long way. And this one is called King Gold, King Gold. And I'll also put links for all of this stuff when I'm done. But I love this. I have used this on hardware for doors, hardware for lighting fixtures, chandeliers. Naturally, I've used it for hardware for furniture, and I love it. And it comes, isn't it beautiful, Shannon? It comes in a million colors, and it's the least expensive way to change the look of the hardware. Sometimes we don't like the color of the hardware, and I've actually seen people throw it out. And unless it's like really cheap pressed metal hardware that's like bendable, don't throw it out. Do not throw it out. Change the finish on it. Now, the other brand I love is called Rub and Buff, and I'm out of my gold Rub and Buff. This is my pewter, and I've used this also, this color, a lot. It's a very kind of blue silver color, as you can see there. Very cool. I've also mixed these two together to make a really beautiful champagne color, and I just take a little bit of each, put it on one of my little cardboard palettes, and I mix these together, and it makes a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And remember, if you're doing a whole set of hardware for a dresser, you should mix up as much as you think you're going to need, because if you don't want it to look different, like one side of the knobs to look different than the other because you didn't do the exact proportions. So make sure you do that. Here's another one, and this is my silver. This is by Baroque Art, and it's called Gilders Paste. And I was on live talking about this a while ago, and I mentioned how this one had dried out. And a wonderful follower, watcher, said, oh, all you have to do is add I think she said turpentine to this, a solvent, or no, or it was, oh my God, or was it mineral spirits? I'm going to look that up. And it worked. I grabbed some for my son who had, he was oil painting, and it actually worked. So don't throw this away either, but that's the silver. This one is not airtight. That's the only complaint I have about this, is that the Baroque Art isn't airtight, and hence that's why it dried out. But I can still use it, which is fabulous. And these are all true waxes, you guys. This is wax. This isn't an acrylic or anything that you'll be able to peel off. It's really just going to go into the finish and finish it. Shannon's saying, oh, I didn't think ever about mixing it. Shannon, you got to mix this stuff. You can make some amazing colors. I've even put a little bit on, right, gold, and then I might take some of my pewter, and when the gold is dry, add a little pewter touches. You can really go crazy with this. So I love it. And all you do, and I've run out of rags, but I'm using a paper towel. The best would be to use an old cotton rag, right? Because this can kind of rip. And you take, and remember I'm using gold, and a little goes a long way. You could also use a brush, and I would tell you to get a little natural bristle brush, just some little, you know, like a chip brush, but a tiny one. And I just dip the cloth into the wax, and I just hit it like this. Now I'm hitting the high points because I want to see that black, right, that they use to kind of antique this hardware. I want to leave that. So I'm just going around and hitting the high points of the hardware. And look at the difference, right? So there's the new one, the gold, the warmer gold, and here is the old one. And it gives it just enough warmth and also a luster, whoop, like it's not as kind of coarse as that. There's just a nicer luster about it. I love it, and I really do this with these jewelry boxes. I always take the hardware off, and I always redo it. Now here's one I did earlier, and I added a little bit more because I wanted to show you. This is with more of the gold, and this is with a lighter touch of the gold. So you can also, hey, Mary Ann. Oh, everybody, Mary Ann, by the way, who just joined us. Hello, beautiful lady. You're so sweet. Mary Ann, if you're into drawing, she calls it doodling. I call it drawing. She's got a wonderful page where she does tutorials and all kinds of cool stuff, and it's called Mary Ann's Makery, so go check that out. But anyway, this is a little bit more, this is a little bit less, so you can affect the look also by that, how much you put on. So let's do the next one, and then I'll show you how I do the little knobs. And I'm going to add a little bit more to this one. I like kind of a lot. And to me, the hardware is the jewelry for furniture, doors, right? Our faucets, sinks, all of that. It adds just that nice touch. Look at how pretty. And this is so easy, and you really have to let it dry. I'm going to add a little bit more to that first one I did. Don't try to put this on when it's still wet. So I would actually let it dry for 24 hours before you put it on your piece. Now here are these little miniature knobs. Look at how cute. It's like dollhouse furniture. And I just go around, right? I have a little bit much on that, so I'm going to wipe a little bit off. And look at how cute. Let me get another one so you could see. So there's the before and here's the after. And you see how kind of green this is? I hate that. I hate that cool green gold. I don't like it. It's not my thing. So I'm going to do all of them like this. And then I'm thinking for the jewelry box, I keep looking over at my paint inlays. I really truly love the paint inlays. So I'm thinking I might do a paint inlay. I also thought about doing a stencil, like using a script stencil or a stamp. See how when you have too many options, it's like, what should I do? And it's just a little jewelry box. But this is how fast it goes. I have also done this to candlesticks, you know, cheap metal candlesticks, and they just look beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Okay. Same thing. And if I were to grab a brush, my little natural bristle brush, and kind of pounce it in there, it would, if you want a more solid gold look, solid gold, it would go in here and kind of cover up all of that black. And I've done that also where I just wanted something that was really gold because remember, it doesn't look like it's spray painted. It has a whole other different look. So that's it, you guys. All right, so Shannon is saying, can you do script and the inlay, or is that too much for a small box? Well, that's what I was thinking about, Shannon, also layering, combining, because you can cut out the inlays, right? You don't have to, you know, use the whole design. You can cut the inlay apart. So I was thinking about that, you know, doing something kind of layered like that. So maybe I will. You're giving me ideas. So I might do that. We'll see. I have to play around, and maybe I'll do it, you know, I'll play around right live, you know, go through my thinking process, which a lot of times makes absolutely no sense. And you know what? If it doesn't work, I can always paint over it. That's what I always say. But look at how beautiful our little tiny hardware is. I just have one more piece to do. I'm going to let this dry for 24 hours. And the other thing I was going to say, after it dries, like say you're doing a big piece, after it's completely dry, you can buff this. Like if you want it to come to a really high shine, you can buff this because remember, it's wax. So you could give it a nice buff, or you can leave it like this with kind of this burnished satin look. Hey, Lorena. Lorena's asking, do you need to seal this? Right, Lorena, the gilding wax? You do not. It's wax. It's going to dry hard, and the longer it dries, the harder it gets, and that's called curing. So it will cure, so you do not need to seal this. In fact, you don't want to seal it with anything. You can do wax over poly. You can never do poly over wax because it just won't stick. Oh, you're welcome, Renee. Thank you for joining. And when you do wax over a poly, right, it sits on top. It's a layer on top of the poly, right? And I've done that and it works. I don't use poly a lot, to be honest. When you do wax over a paint, like a chalk paint, it's absorbed into the paint. And that's like my fave. Also oil. So you guys, this is it. And this is so easy. So get yourself, I'll put links for the Rub and Buff, and I'll see if I could find the Pebeo. And they're both beautiful. They're equally as wonderful to use. They're on the same level. So was the Baroque art. The only thing, remember, is that because this is not airtight, it get dried out. But you can use, I think it was mineral spirits to kind of go in there and liquefy it and use it. And then lastly, you'll see the links for my membership, which is open until the 28th, and the workshop for the chalkboard, which is behind me here. So check them out. Any questions, let me know. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful